Welcome to Horse Matchmakers, a podcast made to help first-time horse buyers navigate the horse buying process with confidence. We cover everything from what you need in a horse to understanding what ads are really saying, everyday scams to perfect prospects so you can match with the right horse for you. If you haven't been here before, then you're probably wondering why this podcast is needed. People lie. The horse selling industry is a $1 million industry, which means people who want to make a quick buck just flock to it. While the liars make it difficult to find the horse for you, so does the confusion for what you need and being able to tell what each horse is in their ass. In the last episode, we covered whether or not you are ready. Today, we are going over to the 3 questions you need to ask about every single horse and some guidelines for which horse is perfect for you. The first question is, what horse do you need? Now, this one is a little bit difficult due to the nature of the question. You have to decide what horse you need. I do have a few tricks up my sleeve to help you shift through whatever you don't need. We are going to go through a series of questions, and I want you to answer them completely honestly, even brutally honestly. The first one is incredibly easy. What lesson horse do you ride? Is it the horse you really have to push to get into a different gait? Is it the horse you have to keep slow the entire time? Is it the horse that is fully trained for whatever skill you're working on? Is it the horse that you have to make do the skill and just have to force it the entire time? When answering this question, we get 2 things out of it. 1, what you can handle, and 2, what you enjoy. If you hate having to constantly kick and kiss to make a horse go, then you know when you're searching to ask whether or not the horse needs excessive pressure. If you dislike having to check a horse constantly, you know to make sure this horse has more woe than go when you're looking at ass. If you dislike having to teach a horse every lesson on what it needs to do, then make sure to search within your sport. You're probably going to have to teach a horse a few things regardless of wherever you get a horse or what sport it was doing before, but you know that you want a bigger starting point than never done it. Now that we've determined those type traits, let's look at what you have done. Have you dealt with a misbehaving horse before? Have you rode a green horse before? Have you ridden a spooky horse? And how long have you ridden? A year, 2, 3? Look at your experience and personal enjoyment. Do you want to deal with a spooky horse? No? Then don't buy one. Have you ridden a green horse before? Do you want to have to deal with teaching them everything? No? Don't buy one. Yes, but you haven't ridden very long? Don't buy one. Wait until you have some more experience. Have you dealt with a misbehaving horse? More than just not turning the exact second you want or picking up a lead? No? Then make sure you don't buy one with vices that are serious. Honestly, you don't want to buy any with these vices: buck, bolt, rear, bite. Those are incredibly serious, and you don't want to get a horse with those unless you are actively, you're a horse trainer, professional, been doing this for years, and you are buying a horse specifically to test your skills. There are a few other exceptions, of course, but honestly, if you're a beginner, these vices are not okay. If you're buying for a child, which I'll make a completely in-depth podcast episode later for, no vices of these natures are okay ever, ever. But while you're looking at these horses, think about what you can handle, because horses are powerful and can harm you quite badly. Now that we've talked over what you have done and what you can/want to handle, let's talk about what you do. If you are a beginner without a specific sport that you're looking to purchase in, some horses to look at are trail horses, western pleasure, show horses, lesson horses, obstacle horses, and way day horses. These are all relatively safe horses that have been trained to be safe. If you have a specific sport, you can look inside of said sport. However, if you're a beginner, make sure you don't buy a horse that is going to be absolutely insane. Some horses that are encouraged to be insane commonly are in sports like roping and barrel racing. And never buy a former bronc. Just ask if whenever you're looking at these sports, whether or not they rush the gate, have a good stop, etc. The next question on our 3-question list is, what is the horse? This refers to the height, breed, age of the horse. This is a very controversial topic for this first section, but if you are a grown adult, you do not need a pony. Get a horse that is appropriate to your height. For some basic guidelines, 5 feet and under, ponies are okay, which are 14.2 hands and under horses. If the horse is shorter than you, then you are probably too tall. You can always go taller. Though for beginners, I recommend staying under 16.2 hands. They're naturally more powerful and can be a bit more stable. 5 foot to 5 foot 6 inches, you can do very top of 14 hands and 15 hands. You're going to not want to go any lower than that, and honestly, staying at 15 hands probably is best, but if you get a perfect 14.3 hand horse, you can do it. 5 foot 7 inches to 5 foot 11 inches, 15.1 hands is the minimum. You can go 15 hands, of course. These aren't if you get such a small difference, then it's fine to make an exception, but you're going to want to search for a 15.1 hand horse. At 6 foot, you can ride a 15.1 hand horse, but if you're going to compete and really push a horse, try and stick in the 16 hand. There are some exceptions to everything. If you are very tall, but very, very light, you can ride a smaller horse, etc. It just depends on you. These are just basic guidelines on what to look for, not what you end up buying. If you find the perfect horse at 15 hands and you're 6 foot, then that 0.1 isn't that big of a deal. Again, unless you're expecting this horse to perform, then please get a bigger horse. Next up is the breed. If you're a beginner, I would automatically just stay away from off-the-track thoroughbreds, draft horses, Arabian horses, and Mustangs. Some good beginner breeds are American paint horses, quarter horses, Appaloosas, and Morgans. It's really that simple. The breed of the horse really doesn't change things all that much. The horses that I listed to stay away from typically are a little bit more horse to handle, especially off the track thoroughbreds, and Mustangs, obviously, they used to be wild, so they're going to be a bit. Draft horses are huge, and Arabian horses just tend to be more maintenance and speed wise. Moving on to the age of a horse, green horses are horses that recently learned to ride. They're normally younger, so if you're buying a 2 to 6 year old horse, I would go ahead and just consider them green. It does not matter how much experience the ad says that they have not lived long enough to have enough experience to not be green. Continuing on to little age ranges, 7 to 10-year-olds are younger and therefore still have a little bit more learning to do, but it's a good age range for a beginner, intermediate, as long as you're prepared to understand that they won't have as much experience as an older horse. 11 to 13-year-old horses are the last section that I kind of consider young, but they have enough years to have experience. I would not say that they're old enough to be able to be like, been there, done that, but they can be very experienced and a great option. They normally don't need much teaching on how to be a good citizen either, just on whatever specific sport you're trying to train on. 14 to 17-year-olds are great options for beginner riders that have that been there, done that. They can be very, very experienced and are an excellent option. This is normally my favorite age range to recommend. 18 to 21-year-olds are great for beginners not looking to compete much. If competing is something you do every once in a while for the fun of it, this is a great age range. It's best for the trails and just some fun times. 22 to 26-year-olds are awesome, but they can lead to heartbreak pretty quick. If you are looking for a trail horse that you want to ride and then maintain for the rest of their life, then these are great. Please do not buy someone in this age range if you're planning to sell when they aren't what you need anymore. These are the people moving into retirement, so just make sure you're prepared for that whenever you purchase one. 27 to 30-year-olds are great for retirement and light groundwork. Some can be trail ridden, most cannot. There are exceptions to each of these guidelines above, but it's great to know the expectation of a horse's age whenever you're looking. Just try and look within that age range, and if they're a year or two above or below, it's not that big of a deal. The last segment is who is this horse? Their experience, experiences, and sport. Let's start with experience. A lot of horse sellers will tell you that they have a lot of experience, but in my opinion, anything under 7 to 10 years old physically cannot have a ton of experience. They just haven't lived long enough. Now, if you want to compete in a sport, looking for horses with experience inside that sport is a great idea. Lots of sports have benefits weaved into having experience within it. For example, a trail horse is great for horses that you don't want to spook much. Play-day horses are used to a rodeo environment. Obstacle horses are awesome in general. Police horses are bomb-proof, powerful, and incredibly fast. Things like that. Think about what the horse was exposed to and the sport that they had experience in. That tells us all about the experiences that a horse has had as well. There are other things mixed into it whenever we're thinking about experiences versus experience. You have to look for both the good and bad within each one. For example, barrel horses are used to rushing out of gates, going fast for 16 seconds, then stop. Roping horses are the exact same, but for 3 seconds. Think about how that teaches them to behave. It teaches them that work is over in 16 seconds. It teaches them to go insanely fast and be insane whenever walking up to a gate because it's time to go, etc. Looking for the good and bad within their experiences tells you a lot about a horse. When you're messaging the seller, if you decide to move forward with a horse of this type, make sure to ask about any concerns you have. Better to ask and be told an answer you don't like than not to ask and find it out later. I know that a lot of this seems negative, but remember, these are just guidelines to help you find a great horse for you. Some things that you think are a heck no are heck yes for others. And other things are let goable. For instance, if you find a trail horse with a bit of go and they're younger than what you originally had in mind, that's okay. Just remember that you're going to be a teacher as well as a rider. It's just ways for you to know what you're getting into. Make sure to tune in next week for the beginner horse, where we talk about some more guidelines and an example ad to help you know what to look for.